Just looking at the toolbars set up to plot plan information directly from 12D, either for the survey, design or the drainage. The same toolbars are available. Essentially be looking for these icons here. Our initial starting point will be develop a plot frame. This essentially just loads a screen layout file, plotting either A1s or A3s. So you just need to pick what sort of frame you'd want. We also have some frames that are either horizontal or vertical. So I'll just do a horizontal standard one. Essentially using the screen layout file, the margins and all the information set up. We just need to select a scale, pick an origin point, location, and create the frame. So this has placed it in a new model here, which I can now turn on. Translate the frame, rotate the frame as needed, and basically reposition as I need to. At any time, if I wanted to finish the frames, I can always come back and edit the frames again, or additional frames, create additional frames. So yeah, just pick another frame and we can get back into that same editing mode where we can translate it and rotate it and position as we need to. Next menu down is to create basically a plot frame along a string. Essentially, you do need a seed plot frame, so you do need one to start off with at the right scale, and we obviously need to pick an alignment string. So I can essentially just pick an alignment string, select my plot seed, put in the distance I might want the frame to actually overlap, say 20 meters or so, and the frame, the model that the frames are going to be developed into or produced into. So if I just add this model on to now, you'll see 12D's actually created a number of frames along the alignment, and it's lapped them over by 20 meters. So we're now ready to set up. Obviously with the seed frame, I could have modified the seed frame to essentially push the bottom margin up, say 300, and set that. So you can have some plan information at the top and have your long sectional information down the bottom. So it's just a matter of playing with the margins and setting the frame up as you need to. Moving on, if you want to, we can actually set a grid automatically. So again, depending on the defaults and the setup, this one's been set up to actually create a new plan view, a new plotting view for your plan information. A lot of users might not use this one, but you can actually transfer your models from one view to the other. So if I pick my selection source, my original view, and accept that view there, and pick my destination view as my new view here and accept it, that turns essentially the model list on in my new view. And now essentially I can just set that, and all the grids are on there for me at 50 meter intervals, and the northings and eastings and so on. Next in the list, we put down the save restore in case you needed to replot these models, and you've got a list of all the models you have turned on at the time when you did your original plot. You can essentially just save that out and write that file out. In the future, we can always come back and restore that file. And 12D basically just keeps a list, a notepad file or text file list of all the models that you had turned on at the time. So it just remembers what you had turned on at the time, ready to replot it again if you needed to. The next one down is actually setting the plotter mapping file, or the PMF file. So this one's actually been loaded automatically, the PMF, the plotter mapping file, but you will notice probably in the user library there are other options as well in terms of whether you want to plot to black and white or all in colour, and you might also find that there are some PMF file to go from an A1 down to an A3, and it basically just changes the plotter mapping or the pen sizes. It's similar to a CAD CTB file, this plotter mapping file. So you can select different ones of those in case you're doing black and white prints or so on. Print plot frames, essentially this is where it all happens. Now we've got our frames, essentially we can come into the user library and select what sort of frames that we had. I just picked the A1 horizontal, so I'd select that and read that file in. You would be looking for that standard model of frames, the view where all the data's on, so I'm going to pick that view called plot that we just created. I can either plot it to a model or directly straight out to a PDF. So let me just go and pick a PDF. I have to set this one up. It's all colour, that's good, and pick my paper size, A1. And now I'm basically all ready to go. So the title block's already been loaded. If I wanted to put some additional information in here, I could, or change the drawing number, And essentially I'll plot there and it will create the PDF for me. And there we have the PDF, the output of what I was after there. So a couple of things happening with the plot frames. You could see originally in 12D I could put some data in for each individual plot and change the name of each of the plots if I wanted to. It also takes additional information that would come directly from your project details panel. So, you know, the project details that are loaded up at the start of the job, if you had to put some information in here and fill these out, this would also be plotted automatically onto the plot frame and filled out the information at the bottom of the plot. Finally, the last one, we've got obviously the quick sheet plot, which has been around for a while now, but it actually is very easy to use in terms of just picking an area, selecting a scale. Where do I want to plot it to? It doesn't really matter. Pick a DWG. Again, with this one, it's quite good because you can translate it around. And rotate it around the information if you want to. And it very quickly does a plot for you there and give you a PDF or a DWG, or back into 12D as another model. So that's the one right at the very bottom, the plan plot, or some users prefer to go straight from the menu, the quick sheet plot.